At age 17, I've managed to make over $2 million without knowing anything, and I'm gonna explain it all in this video so that you can do it too. It all started during the pandemic around 4 years ago, where I was randomly scrolling on YouTube and saw a couple videos on graphic designing pop up. And seeing as I was like a 12 or 13-year-old kid that had nothing else to do, I thought that maybe this could be a fun side hustle I could get into, start making some money so that I could maybe start buying more V-Bucks. Now, I watched so many of these videos, but the thing was that I never actually learned how to design. What I did was go on Twitter, find someone who needed a profile picture or banner done, and then I'd get the job and go to Fiverr and pay someone $5 to do it. So basically, I acted like a middleman. This did pretty okay. I made like $80 to $100, which was pretty good for someone's first 2-3 weeks in business. But I knew that if I could make $80 to $100 not knowing too much, imagine how much I could make actually knowing the skill. So I eventually put designing to the side and got really interested in editing videos for other people. The reason for this was because I'd been making homemade videos for years. Being a magician, doing challenges, you get the point. But during all that time, I kind of got a feel of what it was like to make and edit a video. I still wasn't a professional though, which is why I took the time to resync myself into YouTube in order to master the skill. And after I was confident enough to the point where I thought I could work for other people, I went on Twitter again to look for job listings and try to find someone that properly needed work. And after messaging hundreds of people for days on end, I finally got my first client for absolutely free. I didn't get paid a single penny. This pattern continued for months, but I didn't care though because I was gaining so much experience just working for people for absolutely free and getting my name out there. I even ended up making a video on an old channel of mine teaching people about editing and all that stuff.
First of all, I bought my G Fuel.
But this continued for a few months until I actually got paid for my first ever commission that came to around $20 or $30. This was because I had built up a portfolio of so much work that I was kind of undeniable. And this continued and it scaled from $100 to $500 to $1,000, and you get the point. From then on, I was basically in the world of video editing for people, making a pretty good income at a very young age. At one point, at the age of around 13 or 14, I actually was making $3,000 to $4,000 a month from this, which even in today's standards is a really good side hustle for a teenager. And a lot of you watching this would think, oh, let me just go start video editing, which is cool, but I knew that my time was directly correlated to the money I was making, because I would pull all-nighters almost every single day to get videos done for clients. And although the check at the end was nice, I couldn't really live my life, which is when I decided I want to adapt from video editing and start making money in a way where I could start seeing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 checks every single month. And being a teenager who loved playing video games like Fortnite and Minecraft, I knew that there was a way to monetize that to make hundreds of thousands of dollars because so many YouTubers were doing it at the time. Very specifically though, Minecraft was starting to blow up again because a little Swedish YouTuber decided to revive it. And seeing as it was one of my favorite games, at the age of 14 is when I decided to start a Minecraft YouTube channel. But not in the regular way that you guys would think. I actually had a mentor. See, this was someone I met on Discord who had ran channels in the past and had been successful, and he came to me with a really cool deal. The gist of it was that he would own a percentage of the channel and fund the entire project, and in return he'd teach me everything about YouTube, how to make a good thumbnail, how to write good scripts, and how to understand how to tell a good story. And seeing as I had absolutely zero experience doing anything before, I told myself to take advantage of this opportunity because I know not a lot of people get it. And this is when we started pumping. We were making a video a week. I learned so much about YouTube and the channel started to blow up video by video. I was seeing 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 views a video on my first ever channel I had started. And this was all because I had someone over me teaching me everything I knew. It was the most insane feeling of all time. I gotta sit down for this one, but at this point is when this kind of vision unlocked in my mind of what was really possible. I started blowing up on YouTube and that channel actually made thousands of dollars. And after gaining over 20,000 subscribers as well, it looked to me like that channel was gonna be what I stuck with for years to come. But I went back to zero. This wasn't something I was expecting, and I thought that this was going to be my career for a very long time to come, but that wasn't the way it ended up working out. See, after making Minecraft videos for months and months on end, I kind of got tired of it. And when thinking about what my life was going to look like just making these videos on a game I didn't enjoy playing at all, it just made sense to me to, I guess, throw it all away and start over again. I knew I needed more, and I think a lot of you can relate to something like that. And so so I completely went back to editing to start from the beginning and figure out what I was really gonna stick to for a very long time to come. This was a bit of a bad time because I was looking for the next big thing, and I just left something that had the opportunity to make me a lot of money if I was passionate about it. So after that little hole that I dug myself for a few months, I finally decided to snap out of it and really start marketing myself again and start pumping, which is when I joined an agency that I started editing for. That was a great period. I met a lot of people, but the reason I mention this is because one person who I specifically met through that agency was a client of mine called Notloop, which some of you might have seen on the podcast I went on last year. He came to me after a few months of working together and asked to start a completely faceless YouTube Shorts channel with me. I wasn't doing much at the time. I was just editing and I'd been looking for the next thing. So I was like, sure, let's run it. And so this became everything that we put our energy into. The channel was around celebrity gossip. So we would get ideas around Mr. Beast and all these famous people on the internet and make engaging videos around them. I was in charge of editing every video and finding some of the ideas, and Luke would voice over and script them. And whenever we found a banger idea, we'd just send it in the chat and instantly make a video around it. And in only 42 days of starting this channel, we hit over 100,000 subscribers, which meant that we got this silver plaque and that gold one that I'll go into a bit later. But this was the shifting point for everything, because right after that is when we started Snapchat, and in our first month generated over $500,000 in revenue and profited over 250K. Keep in mind, I was still 15 at this time. See, Snapchat was this new money method that not a lot of people knew about because it was very safeguarded and closed off. The only way that you could get onto the platform was by getting accepted. So after hearing through the grapevine that there were some people we knew doing this, we knew we had to find a way to get in there. So Luke and I spent weeks and weeks and weeks trying to figure out how to get our own channel, and after we did, we took advantage of it. This wave of making disgusting amounts of money on Snapchat continued, and in actually May of that year is when we ended up hitting 1 million subscribers on the Slam Dunk channel. That was the first Shorts channel that I ever ran, and it was a massive success. The problem with Shorts at the time though was that they didn't pay the same money that they pay today, but I'll talk about that in just a second. We continued riding the Snapchat wave and even got interested in different things like YouTube long form, where we started a channel called Genesis, and on our third video got over 1 million views. And that video alone made us over $2,000, but we didn't continue with that because Snapchat was just too easy. 3-minute vertical videos, nothing could stop us. Now that whole year sounds like a dream. 2023 was the first time I really got rich, and we rode Snapchat until it pretty much died down in Q4 of 2023 because of a lot of issues with the platform and how they handled content. This wasn't something that I could continue to do for years on end, so I decided to take a back step and focus on things that were really gonna change my life again. In my opinion, a real entrepreneur isn't made by like the first success they have. You measure someone who's a real entrepreneur by the second or third, because that just shows that they can do it again and again. So after Snapchat pretty much died down, I ended up focusing on a new business model again, which was YouTube Shorts that I previously just talked about. But instead, this was actually a way I could make money now. See, in 2022 versus 2023, they released a new program for Shorts that started paying people for the amount of views they were getting, whereas before it was just a bonus structure. So now if you got a certain amount of views, you'd make a certain amount of money. So it motivated people to start making so much content. I ran a couple channels that started making me like $10,000 to $20,000 pretty quickly, because Shorts pays around like 15 to 20 cents per 1,000 views. The cooler thing about that though is that you could actually get sponsorship deals for your videos that paid around 40 to 50 cents per 1,000 views, which pretty much made Shorts overpowered to post on. So at this point, I was making good money with Shorts, which is when I also decided to release a free newsletter around how to make money with short form content like I had done on Snapchat and on YouTube. I basically sent out weekly videos on everything I knew to help people out, because Shorts changed my life, so I wanted to also help others do the same. I still send those out to this day, so if you want to join, that link's in the description. And I'm actually releasing something to only the people in the newsletter pretty soon, which is why I wanted to give it a shout out. And so the money I was making from Shorts was great, but it wasn't what I was used to before, printing $200,000 to $500,000 a month at just 15. You might think that's completely crazy, but from someone who was used to making quite a lot very early on, the drop off to only making like 30 to 40K was pretty depressing, as crazy as it might sound. See, I was worried I was just gonna be a one-hit wonder and not someone who was gonna be known as like a real businessman. But when I got invited invited to Miami to be on Jordan Welch's video, I knew that something was in the air to change here. I flew to Miami for the video and actually got connected to someone called Arib, who had been working in the software space and owned a few companies that were worth millions of dollars. And we actually came up with an idea for a tool that would help people make short form videos super easily. We ended up getting Musa, who a lot of you might know from TikTok, on board, and a goated developer called Aleem as well. And we basically formulated this to fix our problems when running shorts, but also other people's. And so this was the perfect match because this was a tool that was also going to fix our issues when posting short form videos. We ended up calling this tool Creo and worked on it for months to release it to the public. I was very confident that this was going to be the next thing that changed my life again. But after releasing it, there were a lot of problems we occurred that kind of ruined that confidence. The tool was laggy, it wasn't as good as we had expected it to be, and there were just a lot of issues that people faced and weren't happy with. The launch day ended up making us like $6,000 to $7,000, which was good money, but not something that was going to be life-changing to any of us. We weren't going to settle for this though, so we put our heads down, got to work, and fixed everything that was wrong with the entire company. We made the tool feel actually good to use, and all the users who were making videos with it every day started to have amazing feedback for us. This was the sign of confidence that we need, and this reflected in the amount of money the company started to make. We even went from trying to make the tool just good to making it amazing, and added things that haven't really been seen before with other companies so that we could be proud in our own creation. We knew that we had to deserve our own success. We couldn't just expect it without putting the work in. And the revenue for that company started to show once we made these positive changes. I've been documenting this on my Instagram, but we're hitting $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 days consistently now, which means we're making minimum like $300,000 to $400,000 a month, which is pretty cool until you realize that we're estimating to hit over $1 million a month by the end of the year. That now becomes nothing. So I went from being a kid who edited videos in his room to making his first few $100,000 only 2 years in, and now before the age of 18 I started a company that makes hundreds of thousands a month, and I did this all from my bedroom. See, a common pattern that you can get from this entire story is that I didn't give up and that short form content is king. Join the newsletter.